Hi, and welcome to the latest in our series of interviews of people who are involved in the Caplo community. And today we have the honour, actually, and privilege to have John Spinks of EPC Surveys Northwest. And I'm so pleased I didn't slip up over that name and pronunciation because I was struggling before. So without further ado, what we're going to be doing is digging into why John does what he does, also what he actually does, and we're going to delve a little bit more deeply into his experiences and thoughts generally on networking. So John, welcome.
Thank you, Ian.
And I'm going to go straight in there with what was the spark that prompted you to set this business up?
Yeah, well, really, it was. I have a love for numbers. I confess, I really do, and that includes measuring things. And so, doing energy performance certificates, which requires a lot of numbers and measurements, was something that maybe I was always going to veer into.
Excellent. Good answer. As good as any, I suppose. So far, what's your proudest moment in business? It doesn't have to be with what you're doing. It can be anything.
Oh, it's okay. Well, with regards to EPCs, I think it's getting a client with 350 properties that she's renting out, and I was quite rather pleased about that, to say the least.
Yeah, well, I think that kind of answers the next question, because I was going to say, what job or contract win would you say was particularly exciting? So 350 properties, I guess, is quite enough to keep quite a lot of people busy.
That was the one. So I was extremely pleased about that. Yeah, still am.
So next, please educate me. Tell me about the range of services that you offer and a little bit about exactly what it is.
Yeah, energy performance certificates, EPCs, they are a legal requirement for anyone selling a property or renting a property out. It measures the energy performance of the property, of how proficient the property is, and there's a scale of A to G, and rented properties have to be at least E, although they're going to have to go up to D later this year potentially, and then by 2025 the government are threatening to put them up to C, and so people will be having to get EPCs to prove that their properties are able to be rented out, and anyone selling a house also. So it's quite simple, really. It's just a certificate that's required, which measures the energy performance of the house, the property.
And that will apply to people selling a property as well?
Yes, before you sell a property, you have to have an EPC.
Yeah, but will it be up to C for selling a property?
I'm sorry, no, it won't. It doesn't matter when you're selling a property, not renting, but just simply selling. It doesn't matter what it is. But the higher up, the higher the rating, the better the mortgage terms will be. And most companies won't give a mortgage if it's less than D.
Right, okay. I didn't know that, so thanks, you've educated me. So knowing what you do, can you tell us what's a really good job or introduction for you? I guess just a one-off job isn't what you're interested in. What's a really good introduction for you?
Yeah, well, an estate agent, letting agent, property company that has over 351 properties, ideally.
Oh, so one more than your previous best.
that would be that'd be good.
That's a very good choice, John, and very wise, might I add. Right, so moving on to your experiences of networking. So what's the story behind the best job you've won? And it might even be this one, because it's the top one.
It was this one, yes.
Yeah. In terms of was it a referral from somebody, for example?
Yeah, this job was. It was a referral, and that's why networking is so important, because I don't know what percentage of the jobs come from referrals actually, but a massive amount do. Yeah. And so this came from a referral. Yeah.
Yeah. So with respect to networking, how would you class yourself? Would you say that you're a networking extrovert or an introvert?
I'm probably an intuitive and analyzer actually when I go into a network meeting, which makes me, I suppose, an extrovert. I'm a people person, and so I love talking to people, but I love just walking in blind faith, not knowing who you're going to meet, and for me, that's part of the fun.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. Is go go in with an open mind. So that leads me nicely onto the next questions. What do you like or even dislike about networking and networking events?
Well, what I like is the not knowing who you're going to meet. It's like I like surprises, and my experience is that I remember I once walked into a networking room. The first person I saw happened to be an 18-year-old lad, and naturally I think, well, he's going to be no use to me. I was talking to him for about an hour, and he educated me about IT and the business that came from that, and referrals was astonishing. And so, I've learned I don't just despise someone because they may not look like my type of person, or for me, it's part of the never knowing who you're going to meet.
Yeah, I mean, referrals can come from anywhere, can't they?
Yeah, not liking. To be honest, there's nothing I don't like about networking, because I'm a people person. I love socializing, and so it's a great way of having a drink, relaxing, socializing, and meeting lots of people. And they're virtually always dedicated professionals, which also is very motivating.
Yeah. Okay, and so you like surprises. So at the time of recording this, a week on Friday is the 26th. I'll have to come dressed as a parrot. That'll surprise you, wouldn't it? I've told you, I'll have to dress up as something else.
What type of parrot?
I think a green one. It needs to be prominent. Blue,
Yeah.
green. Yeah. But okay.
I'll look out for that, Ian.
Okay. Well, maybe not. Right. Anyway, back to the. So, is the future of networking? Is it online networking, in-person networking, or is a blend of the two the best way to go?
Well, since COVID, online networking has really taken off, and and I think it's brilliant. It's so convenient that you can do it from home, do it in the car, do it in a pub, in a Wetherspoons even.
Yeah.
And you can communicate with people all around the world all at once. It's brilliant. It works extremely well. But for me, face-to-face will never be bettered, because what networking ultimately is about is building relationships, isn't it, and friendships.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes everything tick ultimately. And that's how you really get referrals, by having friends who are in business. So for me, both the future for me is bright for both of them.
Excellent. And if you were to meet somebody who was maybe a little bit nervous, they hadn't done networking before, what tips would you give them, or what advice would you give somebody just starting out in the world of networking?
Well, the biggest mistake a novice would tend to make is rushing up to people with a business card and pushing it in their face. Big mistake, because networking is not about selling. It's counterintuitive, yes. It's about simply getting to know people. And of course, we all know so many people. Our network expands far and wide. And so, the best advice I would give is just go in with no expectations, just relax, and just chat to people, get to know them. And it's almost like, just get to know them and ask more questions, ask lots of questions. People love being asked questions.
I was about to add that, actually, because I've seen how you operate in a networking room. And I think your style is probably the best, because you ask people questions and you'd listen to their answers. And,
that's right.
And you're genuinely interested as well. You can tell.
Yeah. I'm curious, and people are fascinating, aren't they?
Yeah. So, and obviously, I don't know, some people who may not have been following this, but we did take a vote in the WhatsApp group associated with this and ask. Well, it's really a question from the audience, and the winning vote, as many people will now know, I'll come on to in a minute, but it's become the hottest topic in construction and property. And it's this, John, you need to listen carefully.
Yes.
It's an important issue. It's, are you for or against garden gnomes, and why?
Well, I did some research on this, obviously. spent a lot of time.
Yeah.
3 minutes that I had.
Yeah.
And I learned this. Now, you may already know this. So, and I'm but one ambassador of these small statues, garden gnomes, was an oddball called Sir Frank Crisp.
Okay.
whose roughly 62-acre estate in Henley-on-Thames Friar Park was dotted with German garden gnomes and opened to the public in the early 20th century. But what you might not know is that George Harrison of the Beatles bought the property in 1970 and claimed to unearth a few of the original gnomes, which he posed with on the cover of his album, All Things Must Pass.
Okay.
So there we go. I'm a fan.
Well, I'm absolutely blown over with that knowledge. But so much so that I've even forgotten what your answer was in terms of are you for or against garden gnomes and why? And I'm not sure if you sidestepped that. You want to sit on the fence, maybe?
I think if it's good enough for George Harrison, it's good enough for me. I'm a fan.
So you're a fan, yeah? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Well, that helps with the stats, because that had really messed things up if you were sat on the fence and I didn't have an option either way. So, well, I've run out of questions, unless there's anything you would like to add, John.
No, I just realised that hanging out with dedicated professionals is really motivating, you know, and it's you are the company you keep in one sense, and in business, a lot of people are on their own in business, self-employed, they don't. And so I recommend going on networking groups, especially a dedicated one like this property one, if you're in the property business, property sector, as I am with the EPCs, because you're going to come across people who are going to motivate you with their passion for what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I'm a networker. I recommend it.
Yeah, and I think I've got something to add as well, and this is from personal experience. It's your love of numbers. It's like I love how you systematically plan your day around where you're going to be. So and the Wetherspoons chain is a big part of that, because it's a 99 pence office, isn't it?
Well, it is, yes, but you know, it's comfortable, it's warm, it's. Yeah. I mean, I buzz off people, and so they don't disturb me or put me off. I just like being in an environment where there's people. Now, if that puts people off and they have to work in a silence, like in their own house, for example, that's fine. Yeah. For me, the house is no good because there's the cat, there's the fridge, and there's the bed. Yeah. So I have to come to an office, and this does me really well.
Yeah, because knowing you as I do, I'm guessing that you strategically choose the Wetherspoons depending on your agenda for that day, which improves your arrival times, your ETAs, and the speed at which you do it. So I just add that in.
Oh yeah, the Wetherspoons all over the place. I just go to the nearest one, plug in, I'm away.
Yeah, and if you do have any introductions, Caplo would love to be sponsored by Wetherspoons. So if you manage to get higher up the chain, please let us know. So anyway, I'm conscious I might be going on a bit too long, so I'm going to call it to an end there and just say thank you for your time, John. It's really appreciated.
Thank you, Ian, and thank you for Caplo. Fantastic group.
Excellent. I appreciate that as well. And we don't have any fancy graphics or music, so I'm just going to very, very abruptly end it. So thanks again, John.
Thank you.